Hey guys, you're watching Team Starcraft. My name is Joe Starcraft, and this is my cast. Today is Monday, and on Mondays I cast whatever I want. But mainly on Mondays, what I try to aim for is a pretty decent 2-on-2 game that we played against certain opponents. And coming back from a long weekend, and I live in Canada, so we had a long weekend, it's Canada Day, and we had like a nice barbecue and had some very good meats. And I was surprised this year because this year's barbecue, because we had a lot of vegetables, so that was kind of surprising. So that aside, let's take a look at our opponents. We have aZox, and I hope I'm saying his name correctly, but you have here is a Teal Protoss, and we have Sean, Purple Zerg, who's actually going a 8-pool or 7-pool. This is 7-pool, ladies and gentlemen. 7-pool is actually quite interesting because 7-pool could really pressure PT in a way that 10-pool cannot, meaning that it forces my partner and I to actually create that wall quickly at the cost of producing SCVs or probes. And at the same time, it actually forces my partner to build a forge, which is going up right now. And we have 6 lings being built at the moment, and let's see if the wall has been completed, and the wall has not been completed. And this is what I'm talking about. I cannot produce my orbital on time, and actually skipped on building an SCV so that I can put down this barracks on time. So this is one of the drawbacks for PT when Zerg goes 7-pool. And a 7-pool is quite deadly because of the fact that sometimes if you're not prepared for it, PT, even when they're creating a wall, it's tough to stop because they always go for the weaker barracks or the weaker buildings that are being built at the time. So it's interesting because the purple is actually deciding to fall back, and if he does not gain anything out of this attack, this cheese, then he's going to be terribly behind. So he's actually going after the destructible debris on the side of Ender's base, and Ender has already noticed this, and he's putting down another photon cannon right above this list. But the life of this destructible debris is at 2,000, so I doubt that they will be able to break this on time to mount an assault into Ender's base or create a path towards Ender's base. But he's actually hitting on it, and he's actually retreating. So right now, at the moment, what the Zerg should be doing is continuously pump drones so that he can catch up in his worker count, and he actually decided to go 18 extractor, 2 extractors. So I'm guessing that he wants to get his gas really fast. Yes, he is, and he's pumping more drones. And we have our toss going on quite typical builds where he's actually Zerg has bought him enough time for him to go robotics. And this will be interesting because if he goes robotics, will he go Colossus or will he go Immortals? So I think both are very good calls, but we'll see. So let's take a look at what my partner is doing, how he's following up after he built his forge, and he finally finished the cybernetics course. So he's actually very behind Teal Protoss in terms of tech tree, climbing the tech tree, and myself, I'm very behind the tech tree. So this is one of the implicit pressures that 7-pool Zerg does to us, because we are actually preparing for an all-in attack. So, and I think we haven't scouted out yet, but we sort of realized by now that we are not going to get attacked. So I need to actually go on to a higher tech build, which there you go. We have a factory going up. We have a photon cannon just in case for a DT play, and Ender's robotics is still not up yet, and he's using his forge to research ground armor level 1 first, because it's actually quite useful. Apparently, in GSLs and other leagues, other one-on-one leagues, Protoss tend to go for the armor first, especially if they're going against Terran. But actually, my partner actually made a habit of just upgrading ground level armor first, because if he's going a Zealot heavy army, or if he's going a Colossus Zealot, then it's actually better off to go a ground level first because, for example, Colossus with the ground armor upgrade, then they will take a lot more hits because especially the hard counter for Colossus is actually the Viking, and Vikings shoot 2 missiles at a time doing about, I don't know, they do about 20 damage in total. They do about 10 damage per missile, something like that. And if they could reduce 3 damage from it or 2 damage from it, then they will live significantly longer. So we have our teal Toss actually jumping onto the Colossus. He's jumped onto a Zealot Colossus build while the Zerg decided to go Massling at the moment with Lair, and he's starting to upgrade his the speed for Banelings. So we have Baneling, Ling, and Zealot and Colossus. So maybe building a Banshee will help out the situation a lot. But I don't think I'm going that build at the moment. But I am building a Starport. But the safest build for me at the moment will be building more Marines and going Marine tank. And hopefully when we scout out their army composition, we could do something about creating a possible counter for them. So we have teal and purple actually expanding right now, and this is quite a smart call because we're not actually going out right now, and if you take out our army sizes, we're not that much different from each other. So we have Ender actually scouting this out, and this is actually a very key scout because if you don't know they're expanding, then we cannot mount any form of attacks. So I think Zerg has noticed the observer little blimp thing in their map, so he's actually building more Banelings, and I don't think he's building enough Banelings, but for the Marine and tank army. But he will actually, I don't think he had to worry about it anytime soon because we don't have an army to attack with. As you can tell, that 7th pool has really thrown us off, and this is one of those few times we got attacked by a 7th pool, and these are one of these games where we're quite thrown off, and it's one of those things when you play Starcraft, you have a certain build order, and if that build order gets kind of disrupted in any way, it kind of throws us off, and obviously tells us that we're not that good of players. But this is something that we need to work on in case we get pressured early, and it kind of like I said, it kind of threw us off. But hopefully we could mount some sort of a counterattack. But we have, interestingly enough, the people who have expanded are actually coming for an attack. They are already so ahead of us because they have an expansion. Their army size is similar to us, but they're mounting some sort of attack. So we have 3 Colossi hitting at our wall here, and the lone Colossus here that tried to take on those other Colossi, no chance whatsoever. So he falls back. Excuse me. And these Colossi are free to hit these buildings for free, and these buildings will go down even with one Viking. Let's take a look at the Viking damage. And yes, the Vikings do 10 damage and 14 damage to armor. So if they have a +1 upgrade, they come out with 1 armor, they're gonna get 2 armor, so they will live much longer because they have 200 life, and if you do the math, they will probably have to get hit probably a couple more times in order for Colossi to die. So those could make a big difference in team battles. So that is what my partner has actually been working on, and he's actually going primarily Colossi Zealot army, even though he's behind in Colossi count. So we have a lot of Zealots being made, and I have a lot of, not just as many Marines and Medevacs. So we have a pretty small army, and compared to our usual timing, usually our timing is at 8:30 or 9 minutes or 10 minutes, and we push out with a much similar or much larger army than this. So you can tell that I've been really thrown off. And my command center, expansion command center, is actually made. It's my natural. So we're trying to decide whether we need to attack this or if we need to stay at home or expand some more. But we are so behind. Like I said, we're so behind. He's actually expanding onto his second natural. So if this completes and it saturates on time, then it's going to get very painful for us in terms of macro. So we actually kind of move out at the same time, expand at the same time. We have a observer being floating over there, and I notice it, I scan it, I destroy it. And a lot of people say, oh, it's better than, why don't you just, build a mule instead of a scan to destroy the observer. Observers are cheap units considering the job they do, but their scouting ability is already it's such a big advantage, because if they have an observer over your army, then they know when you're moving out, and Zerg knows when we're moving out, so they could use all that larva they saved up to build up a army. So it's one of those things that you need to get rid of. You cannot be scouting your army movement all the time. So let's take a look at their army composition. We could tell that we have 5 Vikings, 4 tanks, and a group of Marines. So 25 Marines, and we have my partner has around 14 Zealots and 4 Colossi. And let's take a look at their army